this innovative and laudable idea of an investment dialogue. I'm hoping that some of the institutions, as our Bank of Ghana, Bankers Association, and others, and the accountancy groups will start a series of educating people on financial literacy, because it is very, very important. My topic is Investing in Ghana, My Journey and Lessons. This is not about the capital market, but the day-to-day activities of individuals and groups putting together money, their own, or what we call OPM, other people's monies, into financial schemes, shares, properties, or commercial investments, commercial ventures, with the expectation of making a profit. This is what you find if you look into the dictionary for what investing is. Of course, we will not be talking about physical investment, which sometimes is very important when villagers, through community activity, live leisure and then build a road. That's physical investment, and it was very critical in the early years of Ghana. Our goal today, this is not a how to do it chat. We make no claim to being success at investing, but hopefully our involvement in things big and small, in all manner of investment activities, may help identify obstacles and ideas for easing the constraints that militate against our investors. Investing is the cradle and incubator for unleashing the entrepreneurial talents of our nation. And all of us must decide and agree that investors, entrepreneurs, are our national asset, and we must learn to nurture and protect them as a nation. The area of focus today is on Ghana, this beautiful, peaceful, and amazing country with abundant resources, both human and material, and opportunities. With all its imperfections, the relative peace we enjoy in this nation is the envy of many. Unfortunately, not unlike the proverbial frog, whose length is not fully in evidence until it is dead, peace and freedom are better appreciated when they are not there, in their absence. Touch wood that Ghana continues as our good old Ghana, and armed with hope as our safest weapon, or better still, we can move forward and master critical mass and rise to our full potential as a nation. Our journey and lessons. The investment landscape in Ghana can be exhilarating and fulfilling, as well as very stressful. An unstable macroeconomic environment is our Achilles heel. It demands running fast to stand one's ground. We trust some of the takeaways and lessons gleaned from our journey will help new investors keep their heads above water as they navigate through big and small transactions, and even as angel investors. What we need to keep in mind: the 18th century French revolutionary Georges-Jacques Danton said, "Success is a child of courage." In français, le succès fut toujours l'enfant de l'audace. And the 20th century British conservative politician and statesman Winston Churchill put it this way, and I quote, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. What counts is the courage to continue." Ghanaians are born optimists. I think those who are not optimists died out a long time ago. We all start with big dreams when we start life, or we come from abroad, or we are getting into business, to build subways in our metropolis. But watch out. The system and the environment may wrestle us to the ground, as it has done many warriors, leaving us bereft of energy and the will to dare to dream. But continue we must. Others have succeeded largely because nobody told them that their dreams were impossible. Beware of the macroeconomic thief. My first investment goal was to own my own house by the age of 45. So I invested in a 10-year life policy to earn 100,000 cedis for our dream house. And those 100,000 cedis would buy you 2 dream houses. I got 100,000 cedis all right after 10 years, but the exchange rate has moved from 1 to 1, 1 cedi to $1, to 350 cedis to $1. So as my friend Yasaf Mafo used to remind us, we all eat macroeconomics. Mercifully, the macroeconomic rascal operates as a double-edged sword. If your debts are cedi denominated and not adjusted for inflation and or depreciation, it may put a bit of wind in your sail. If you are borrowing cedis for a dollar earning business, you are okay and you'll be doing very well. I had a rent towards sale arrangement. These days you don't see it. As you are renting a house and you are paying your rent, it goes towards payment for the house. And of course, that was what gave me my house at age 45, before age 45. So borrowing cedis to do a dollar business is probably one of the best ideas when the macro environment is not stable. The importance of being there. Lessons that are easily forgotten. Out of curiosity, as a young civil servant, I invested in Trotro, emotionally very satisfying, and seeing our 3 buses. I called them after my son. There was a Nicholas bus, Nana bus, and Elkin bus, driving around as I drove home. Very satisfying. But sustainability for such direct investments for an individual is dicey. It's dependent on the integrity of the operators and, unfortunately, reliable the operators were not. Investment is a calculated risk business. Do not invest from your heart. I got involved in sea fishing out of the misery of a fisherman trained in Russia. He had been arrested in one of the many military takeovers, and the wife came to see me in Tema I told a colleague of mine who was in charge, please investigate it quickly. They did it. He had done nothing wrong. He was released. I said, what do you do? He said, I'm a fisherman, trained in Russia. Oh, okay. I got 2 friends together. We bought a boat, and I still remember it. One of the Temaboat boats, TM82. He was doing very well. He goes to sea with light, and the light goes into the sea water. It's like plankton. The fish come out. We were doing extremely well. Of course, he got rich, he got arrogant, and then stopped going to the sea, left it to the fisher folks. We're still doing well because the fisher folks are suspicious. They will not steal from you. They have suspicion that if they steal from you, they'll be drowned. We're doing well. We got cocky. We then hired a manager in between us and the fishermen. And of course, after a couple of years, that man, the middleman, owned a car, owned a hardware store, and me and my friends were broke. With savings and limited time and financial management skills, you need financial services. People who are professionals and who will invest for you. Well-researched, and you give them the mandate, they will do your investment for you. This is what TESA is about. Decades ago, households used to keep funds in low-interest savings deposits, or worse, on current account. Now people are dealing in money market instruments, government bonds, and private placements. How do we avoid dodgy institutions whom we entrust these funds to? Check the competence and moral integrity of those in charge. But that's not enough. Those also at the bottom, the workers, need to be people and persons of integrity. Success is only the top of an iceberg of many attempts and of failures, even though we celebrate the success and we don't celebrate the failures from which we learn. For most of us, collective investments schemes through monthly put-aside funds are probably the answer to our limited capacity for vetting fund managers and institutions. We pool our resources together, and that gives us strength. Such schemes, however, take years to put together. They require patience and teamwork, and a very enlightened and selfless leadership of the group. Our experience with setting up the Teachers Fund, it took us about 5 years, and it was not only them. We had been to other unions over 4 or 5 years. It didn't work. So you need leadership, selfless leadership on the side of the team that are putting it together. A good investment idea requires fertile ground and caring to germinate and then flourish. Scarcity of capital, of equity capital, undermines development and growth of indigenous private sector in Ghana. A major constraint on putting together business in Ghana is scarcity of capital. Trying to establish a Ghanaian bank, we put together, got a banking license, wanted Ghanaian to keep 70%, while we give 30% to a technical manager who will bring in technology management to minimize the execution risk. But we couldn't raise enough money, so we ended up giving 70%, almost 80% of what now has become UBA to the Nigerian partners. Critical mass of investors is difficult to arrange, bringing Ghanaians together to pool their resources together. But the Nigerian banks we brought in changed or transformed the banking environment. They brought technology. They revolutionized the banking in Ghana, brought in competition, customer care, and ICT. So now when you get alarms alerting you to deposits in your bank account, that's what we brought. And depositless, zero deposit to open a bank account. So open it, don't put in any money. One day you get money and put it in. The Ghanaian worker, both in the private sector and in the public sector and the civil service. The Ghanaian entrepreneur, if he is to make serious strides, the work habits and attitudes of our workers must improve significantly. Of course, it also goes aside with us, the owners of businesses. When we spend the money in shiny cars and ostentatiously, of course, it doesn't give good example to the workers to be prudent. Poor work attitude and lack of respect for equipment and private property results in shoddy work and damage to expensive machinery. And thus make it difficult for us to accumulate capital in the private sector. Not everyone wants to be boss or employer. This is a lesson I learned as I was trying to restructure a big company to reduce the staff by about 300. We decided, instead of sending the people home, to say those who were catering for the company, we'll put you into a catering company, and you cater first for the company and look for other clients. Those who are doing security, we put them together and say, okay, you provide security for this company and for other companies also. And then the assets that the company had, we give it to them. Their redundancy payments were paid to the companies as their working capital, and then they became the shareholders. And I was surprised because I thought this was a brilliant idea. But one of the young ladies we wanted to be the key architect, the key player in the catering business, walked out to me one day and said, Mr. Pianim, I don't want to be self-employed. I love being an employee. When I leave here, I leave all the headaches and the stomach aches to you, and I go home to my family in peace and come back the next morning. So be warned, not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur or an employer. They are happy with what they want to do and help them also to do what they want to do. Angel investors, the joys and disappointments of trying to give back. Someone, somewhere, might have given you a break. We all owe whatever we are in life to somebody giving us a break by helping us at a critical time. And we always want to give back. When I was starting my consultancy, I left my work. I needed a car and a few equipment, and the banks were tossing me around, and I couldn't borrow enough from friends. And the late Ben Solomon, who was deputy manager at the Ghana Commercial Bank, said, Kwame, what do you need? I said, I need a car and this and that. Where's your account? I said, in Tema. He said, just write a check and pay for them, and then pay gradually. And then another gentleman, Engineer Apalu, whom I have been doing work for, Ghana Export Company, free because I was with the AGI, said, okay, we'll give you a retainer. I mean, those days, 2,000 cedis retainer a year seems laughable now, but that was critical. It saved me, and that's how I launched. So we also look to how can we help young people who may have startups, but they need equity. And that's what angel investment is about. I've done a few, about 50 of them. One of them, 100,000 in a tablet form, which was a brilliant idea. Put all the textbooks on a tablet, like an iPad, and the students can take it. And so we went to the Ministry of Education with them and so forth. 100,000. I did it with Frank Edu. He had it all written down and so forth. It's gone. I did a lot, over 50. One jeweler who had just finished doing jewelry at K University came to me. He wanted a job. I said, but what did you study? I said, why don't you work for yourself? Brilliant. I said, do a feasibility study. She presented me with one. I said, okay, give her the money, go and work. She's the only one, after 1 year, she came by and said, Mr. Pianim, I can't do it. I'm going to go back to school and go and teach. I said, why? She said, my gold is the working capital. I'm working with my brother, and he steals my gold. So I'm always going and coming backwards. But a lot of them, somebody who got money for cell phones. And I've seen in Johannesburg, somebody sit under an umbrella, people go there, make calls and pay. And he said, help me. I gave him the money, and nothing happened. The next time I heard from him, he was inviting me to his wedding. And I said, I'm not a fool, I'm not coming to your wedding. But you do a whole lot of these things in order to be able to help others. And I hope that we continue to do it to help people, even if they don't bring us too much joy. Towards improving the investment environment. New entrepreneurs are increasingly women and the young in fintech space, ICT space. They go into these businesses out of necessity, not because opportunities are there to make a living. Now, can we organize basic financial literacy training for these women and young people, including ability to read and understand simple balance sheets and financial statements? So when they are working, they know whether they are consuming their capital or they are increasing their wealth. As I said at the beginning, I hope somebody in the banking service sector, accounting space, will emulate this laudable initiative of Tessa Capital and start a financial literacy training for our women in the markets, the young women in fintech, and other businesses. What about a go-to incubator for help for these small people in negotiating and practical governance support? What about just advisory services to help people who want to invest with fund managers as to what to do, what to look for? Regulators of the financial services industry, such as Bank of Ghana and Securities and Exchange Commission, can help the investing public by making it mandatory that major on-site inspection findings concerning ongoing concern, whether a business is a going concern, governance and liquidity concerns, whether they are able to meet their payment obligations. These get published alongside the annual reports that they have to put in the press. This will warn the public and raise red flags to potential risks ahead for the public in investing their funds with these fund managers. Investing is becoming risky and complex, and therefore you need fund managers and the public have to be protected. Working in investment arena is exasperating, stressful, but very fulfilling. Investing is transforming ideas and dreams into tangible assets and providing opportunities for others. When you are blessed with success, the employment, look at this building, somebody's dream is providing jobs for people. As investor and investment advisor, to walk around and see structures you have had a small part in bringing into being is very fulfilling. Even if the actualization process was frustrating and stressful. When I see Springtest Road, I'm reminded of the struggle we went through with Farid Millet to set it up. It was a dream that cotton would be produced in Ghana, ginned and spun into threads, and then made into the army cloth, the military uniforms, the police uniforms, and then Ghana would have had a thriving textile industry. The dream didn't fully materialize for the country, but when I see Spinters Road where there was nothing, now it's Spinters Road, I feel proud that Millet had me be a small part of that. When I see the teachers fund and not Heights, I'm encouraged that the stress we went through, helping the teachers put it together, and they are very enlightened leadership. I was very impressed when the Secretary General told me, I don't mind how much you pay the fund administrators and the people who are watching our investors. 3 times, 4 times mine, I don't mind, as long as it succeeds. It takes an enlightened leader to be able to say that. When I see UBA, Bayport Financial Services, it's fulfilling. When I see SNIT, as a young economist, at about 3 a.m. in my dining room, I came up with the idea, SNIT, S-S-N-I-T, the name, because the group J.H. Mensah had put together wanted it to be a takeaway. We're saying, how do we improve investment in Ghana? Savings rate. The savings rate was low. We said, okay, you can take it from workers at source. It's no different from the SUSU system. It's no different from what we use for the teachers' fund. And now SNIT is the biggest investment fund. Thanks to the foresight of J.H. Mensah, Mr. Adibo, who was then with SIC, State Insurance Corporation then, and Mr. Anthony Kobner-Wood, who joined us together to set up SNIT. So when you've been involved in these things, small, big, it's very satisfying when you walk around and see those edifices, which through investment brought people's dreams into reality. Those of you lucky enough to be in the financial services industry should regard your work as a sacred trust, almost like medical doctors. You are entrusted with other people's money, representing their sweat for years, sweat of hard work, sleeplessness. Take good care, better care than you do take of your own resources. Investing for and guiding others to invest is a specialized area better left to experts. But these experts should be men and women of competence and of high moral integrity. I was very pleased with Eugenia's introductory speech when she mentioned this idea of integrity and responsibility to the customers. It's not only the leadership that is important, the workers are also important. I remember, to our horror, at New World Resources, when we found out that one of our people dealing with customers, when you write a check to be paid to the customer for their investments that are matured, he will go and meet the investors at the lift and send them away because he has stolen the money. We didn't realize that this nice guy who had been introduced to us to hire by a very Christian lady had a habit, a drug habit. So it is important that we check through the workers also to make sure that they are properly trained to say that the people's assets you are taking care of is a sacred duty, is their lifeblood. I would like to end with a challenge. We put a teachers' fund together, 250 people, each putting aside in those days less than 10 US cents. 250,000, even if you put aside 1 CD a month, that's 250,000 Ghana cedis is something. It's now grown into a big fund. But for the macroeconomic instability, the teachers' fund will be about $2 billion worth. Can you imagine that? Ready for investment. Ghana is a small market, and therefore we should look beyond Ghana, ECOWAS, and with the African Continental Free Trade Area, we should look even bigger into Africa and global. So we should always think externally. Who will dare attempt to put together the transformational miracle of a teachers' fund for the estimated 450 million workers of Africa? 450 million people. At $2 a month per worker will yield $10.8 billion a year. The workers in Africa, their funds properly managed, can own some of our natural resources, the oil companies, the fertilizer companies, and all those things. Think about it. This is a challenge I leave to you, the young investors and the management of funds who are coming. In conclusion, I say thank you for this dialogue. I wish you well. I hope you continue, and I hope others will also continue in your steps by trying to train people in basic financial literacy skills to help our young women and men who are going into business to succeed. May TESA be one of the new generation of investment houses we can entrust our savings to and rest secure and assured that our money is safe and growing. I remember a gentleman who used to boast around Ghana about being a billionaire, and he was brought to Ghana International School to talk to the young people. So one of the young girls said, "Mr. So-and-so, how rich are you?" And he said, "I don't really know." I said, "Why not?" He said, "You see, my money is on call, on savings, on placement, and as I'm sleeping, it's earning money. So I can never count." Our expectation of the operators in the investment sector is that they be professionally competent and of high moral integrity. Thank you.